Welcome to Socavision.com, the YouTube channel where myself and my family, we travel around the world, and sometimes we do stuff from home, and that is what I'm doing today. I'm a little bit nervous. I'll tell you why. This platform that we're using, this app that we're using, I haven't used in years since the pandemic, but I'm here for a good reason. On the screen, you can see a very good friend of mine. He calls himself the Red Man Russel. I know him as Russell Simonet. Russell, firstly, thank you for joining us here.
Thanks, Martin. Thanks for having me. Very glad to be here, mate.
Right, now, I've known Russell for a number of years within the Caribbean community. You've got a new project. I say new as in it's come to fruition, but it's been in the pipeline for a long time. Tell us a little bit about that project.
Yeah, well, Martin, I'm about to launch my food vending enterprise. And the reason I say enterprise is I'm not going for one food truck, right? I'm doing it on a different kind of scale, and there are multiple facets to what it is I'm doing. But essentially, I call my operation B's Mismatch. The B is in recognition of my deceased elder brother who actually conceptualized this thing way back when we were setting up our discotheque back home in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Bevel and I took off. We were both still at secondary school, but our parents push us. You know, my parents had 6 children, and they wanted to see all of them tertiary educated. My father, they're both ex-teachers. My mother was still teaching at the time. My father was co-opted by Eric Williams into politics. So I say that so that you will understand that means was limited to try and support 6 children through university.
Mm-hmm.
That is what occasioned my mother to leave the teaching profession, wind that up, and get into business as being one of the early Black female women in Trinidad who did well at business. But she always start those things up and put us in the front line. So Bevel and I took off and went to the States to buy equipment. We had a letter of introduction to Bose because our adopted uncle in San Fernando, Raymond Banfield, was the Bose dealer in Trinidad. But he said, no, don't come to me to buy no equipment or you're going to spend too much money, right?
Mm-hmm.
I give you a letter, you go to Framingham, Massachusetts, sort yourself out, which is what we did. We took off because we had a travel agency business as well. We were able to fly at reasonably priced price points.
Uh-huh.
So we picked up some equipment in New York, but we had to go and see Bose in Framingham, Massachusetts. We flew there, but we came back by Amtrak because we had all the gear from Bose, two big 500 watt amps and all the speakers and that sort of
Hold
thing.
on,
Anyway.
Pause.
Uh-huh.
You flew from Trinidad to Massachusetts
Via New York.
via New York.
But
Then you took the Amtrak back to New York.
yes.
I wanted to know how Amtrak get you back to Trinidad. That is what I wanted to know.
I went a bit too fast there for you, Martin.
Yeah, boy. I was like, wait, you could do that? Right. Okay, yeah. So
You
you
know
took,
there was a last straight to San Fernando, but you didn't know about Amtrak.
right, good. So you come back to New York on Amtrak and then you
Anyway,
came home.
on the way with the train, Bevel and I were seeing along the motorway these diners, reflective of the diner in the Fonz show,
Yeah.
Happy Days,
Mm-hmm.
right? And Bevel conceptualized, you know what? When we get back, we're going to make an approach to PTSC. They always plug in their buses or the car fix them and they have shells available.
Uh-huh.
At the time, we only had the North-South Highway. We hadn't developed the East-West corridor as yet, or any of the other highways, right? But we got busy with the discotheque, and from the discotheque, we went on to Itsy Bitsy, and then quite a few of us were away. So that idea never got beyond the stage of conceptualization.
Mm-hmm.
Bevel passed a few years ago, and I must comment this elder brother of mine. He was a visionary. And for a young black man in Trinidad to do all that he has done in his life, even though at different points in time his walk was troubled, you know, at his passing out ceremony, it was eye-watering, the commentary from various people
Yep.
about what Bevel did for them, how he uplifted them. So I kind of, and I'm welling up myself now,
Yeah, I could see that.
I kind of committed myself to bringing off some of his ideas.
Yep.
So Bees Mismatch is a Bevel, and he renamed himself. He don't like to be called Bevel no more. He's Ogundikun, right? Yeah, because he's walk and talk as he come from there,
Right.
you know, dress and everything. Follow his mother in that aspect, right? I commissioned myself to bring off some of his projects, some of his embryonic and conceptualized projects. And Bees Mismatch is one. Hence the B in honor of Bevel,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So that's what it is. I got myself two big caravans because, again, I'm my mother's child. When you're doing something, do it impressively. Don't do it small. Who will see it when it's small? How are you pulling the rest of us up when it's small?
Yeah.
You know, you got to reach back, take six with you. You can't do that doing no thing small, you know? So there you are. I decided on returning to the UK in 2018. I was approaching my 60th birthday. As you would know, this environment is very ageist. So trying to get back into what I was doing before I stepped out to go and assist my daddy in his last few years
Yep.
was challenging. So I had to find something to put my hands to, and thought street food was taken off before lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
And since we unlocked, it has gone into the stratosphere. Nobody wants to cook at home anymore. Even me, I am very organized in everything I do. So when I go and do a shop on a weekend, I come home, I blend up my own seasoning recipe, wash up all my meats, and then season them all up, package it off. That's about a 2 hour exercise at best.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even then, every morning, before I leave home to, go and do a piece of business somewhere, pick up a package, put it on the draining board, I still have to spend another hour when I come home before I
Yeah.
can eat. Nobody want to do that anymore. In any new build these days, the size of the kitchen is a wardrobe. It's all people put it in there is a hot plate, a microwave, and a kettle. Because
Yeah.
people want that time to do different things with their life. Either they're still young and ambitious and want to get on, put that time and effort into their career,
Yeah.
or they want to enjoy their downtime. So street food has taken off for that reason and other reasons. And I thought, you know what, it's time I take Bevel idea and bring it to life.
Right.
So,
So, bees mishmash. You got two caravans. You've done them up, which you can pull along their caravan trailers. Um,
right.
the type of food that you're going to be starting off with. Tell us a little bit about that, because, like you say, it's a mishmash.
Yeah. Well, again, following the whole family concept of doing things on a grand scale, doing things that enable others, right? I'm not just doing this for me. It's not just Russell or the red man running a kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Between the two caravans, I have three kitchens, which means I have two kitchens available for others to use.
Right.
They can rent the caravan either in its entirety, or they can rent a kitchen. The bigger caravan has two kitchens either end. Both caravans have a hot coal bar where I'm going to be putting on offer premium hot chocolate from Ethiopia and the Blue Mountains of Jamaica. I'm going to be putting on premium tea from the valleys of Kenya and Trinidad and Tobago. I'm going to be putting on hot chocolate from Ghana and St. Lucia. These places in the world are world renowned for what they produce. Yeah, so it's standard, high quality, premium product I'm bringing to market, right? And my commitment is to reaching back and making sure black and brown people move in an accord, right?
Hmm.
So my concentration is the cuisine of the southern hemisphere, where you find all the black, brown, and yellow, right? And I am going to be, others have done this format, so I'm not claiming it's unique, but what I'm doing with the two other kitchens is to rotate the cuisine. So I get somebody to come in, a Moroccan, a Thai, whatever, they're going to do a 3 month, 6 month stint, depending on the appeal, the market appeal. And then I rotate, bring in somebody from, I don't know, let's say Peru, whatever, you
Hmm.
know, and keep the thing going, keep it nice, keep it sweet, and keep it beneficial, you know.
Nice. So you're currently based up in Birmingham. So tell us about the Birmingham operation. I know you're not going to be stuck there, but just tell us about the operation in Birmingham first.
Well, when I was looking for a place to park my caravans before actually receiving them, I approached this strip mall owner in Northfields. He has a reasonably sized car park out the back. He has his own eating enterprise within the mall, as well as he has tenants doing different things. There's a Jamaican guy there doing soups. There was an Asian woman doing vegetarian Asian food, etc. There was a Chinese fellow with a wok, right? So there was already somewhat of a food court atmosphere. Virgil, the owner, had already developed an outside space that he utilized in the summer, but it was underutilized. So I kind of proposed to him, well, look, I could help you bring your outside operations to life, you know? It makes sense that if the caravan is parked there, when it's not at events, that I am able to trade from there. So recently, as we approached the go live, we both sat down and structured it out. So one of the caravans is going to be there and it's going to operate from there on a Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, producing street food. And again, that's the bigger caravan with the two kitchens and the hot coal bar in the middle.
Mhm.
So I'm going to have an invitee along. I'm opening up with a Moroccan style thing. So it's going to be Caribbean, me, and Moroccan initially. I'm going to then bring in a Thai later on,
A
West
jacket,
African
a
later on.
suit.
Sorry?
That was a joke. That was a joke. You say you're bringing in a
That's all
tie,
right.
so I say a jacket and a shirt.
I get it. I get it. I get it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. My joke with that is I go tai chi.
Nice. So that's your situation in Birmingham. Um,
Right. But
people
the
around the
business is
country.
mobile. The
Yeah.
business is mobile. So wherever there's business to be done, I hitch up the caravan one at a time and pull them to wherever they needed. So, for instance, I am at the moment working on two spring summer projects. The South London Park, I think it's called Bromsgrove, if I remember. Anyway, whatever it's called, is where they're doing the city splash in May. Yeah.
It's not Brockwell
Um,
Park, is it?
it's what?
It's not Brockwell Park, is it?
Uh, I think, yeah, it is. Brockwell Park. Yeah, yeah.
There's two
Anyway,
parks in South London. Yeah. Okay. So you're doing City Splash in South London, which we think
well, not
is
just City Splash. City Splash is one day of the week of events. So I'm trying to get to do the entire week. Yeah.
right.
So,
Okay.
right. And then I'm trying to get my caravans in for Notting Hill. Yeah. I've done enough jumping up and down on the road. It's about time I go to Notting Hill and make some money.
Yes.
You know, I ain't
I
bringing
hear.
out a band and you the boss DJ in talk. How I could compete against that? I had my time doing that.
Yeah. I hear
You
that.
know, playing
Okay.
the
Cool.
platters that matter.
So you're gonna be at Nottingham Carnival. You're gonna be at Brockwell Park. I just checked. It is Brockwell Park that you're gonna be
Yeah,
at. and obviously other festivals along the way.
Yeah, yeah,
Look
those
out
are
for
the two
Beach
that I'm
Mishmash.
targeting at the moment, preparing proposals for and that sort of thing. But yes, I'll be looking at probably not the big ones because the big ones have a different format. Listen, I am in my mid 60s, so
Hmm.
anything I do has to conform with the way I love to live my life. You
I hear
know,
that.
I don't
Yeah,
want
yeah,
to be dictated by somebody else's procedures and policies and processes. You know, the thing had to gel with me. There, at this stage in life, I know how to make money. It ain't
yeah,
that. It ain't that. On a different thing now. You
yeah, yeah,
know.
yeah. I hear that. I hear that. Nice. Okay, so firstly, congratulations on doing this.
Thank
Um,
you. Thank you.
I love to hear stories like this where a lot of people will be like, nah, boy, you ain't gonna do that. That's too much work, man. You ain't gonna do at your age, you ain't gonna do that. You know, for someone to just say, yeah, watch me now, and you go and do it. And I've been
Martin,
listening, I've
that's
been
the story
listening
of
to
my life. That's
yeah,
the story of my life. People always underestimate the red man, you know,
I have
because they
listened to
see
you
it
talk about
in
this.
one guys and they don't see the Scuds missile coming that ready to blow up the place.
Yeah.
You know?
So I'm really looking forward to seeing this progress for you. And we were having an interesting conversation the other day, and I want to bring it up because it's been part of your story today. When you
Yeah.
started this journey, you were on your way to Massachusetts because of you setting up a disco with your brother. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
you saw a definitive change in disco music. Um,
Right. I know what you're referencing. Mid 80s, I was studying in London. I was resident at Ish for a time. The reason I mentioned that is that one of the events that became very much part of the calendar for the
mhm,
diaspora was the Ish Carnival Friday Night Fete. Now, a lot of people think that Roddy Mirage started that fete. Roddy came and found that there in place years after your brethren started up when he was a student resident at Ish. It was part of the commitment being a resident that you had to get involved in something in the house.
yeah,
Me and my partner didn't want to work no talk shop every weekend or middle of the week. We too busy studying or enjoying life. So we decided, we brainstormed it and came up with doing one singular event that was so impressive, the administration would leave us alone for the
for the
balance
rest
of the
of the year.
time,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So I did Ish Carnival Friday night, and I did the same thing with the YMCA at the bottom of Tottenham Court Road on Saturday night. Both those events were so successful for those organizations that they remained on the calendar long after I went back home. You
Mhm.
know, that was one thing. But during that mid 80s, a brother from a different mother, Gunju Ogumbi, well-to-do Nigerian guy on the fourth floor with the rest of us. He and I used to kick it. We'll be down the West End, Stringfellows, Hippodrome.
Mhm.
I think there was a club you played in off of Soho, downstairs, a basement thing. You featured there a couple of times, I'm sure. I can't remember. A lot of Nigerians and Caribbean people used to go there. Can't remember the name of the club. But anyway, uh, the story you're referring to is the end of disco. Now, it's quite surprising that a lot of people don't seem to remember this. Very much like how Maracas Bay was divided racially back in the day. People don't remember these things, and it's important to remember these things. There was no natural end to disco. Disco was ruling the roost for over a decade. You had performers like Al Green, Gladys Knight and the Pips, Tina Turner. They were all on top and remained on top for many a year. The end of disco was manufactured. The only black man who was a record executive at the time was Quincy. Yeah, they were all white boys, Jews, and Gentiles. Yeah, and they And this is documented. You don't have to believe the red man. Yeah, go and check it for yourself. Right? They literally paid radio DJs to pull disco. There was no grassroots demand for the return of rock and roll.
Mm-hmm.
That was a totally manufactured thing. And all of a sudden, discos globally closed. Xenon in the West End closed down. The only reason Hippodrome survived is because, what's his name? Had Stringfellows. The money he made from Stringfellows helped him to keep Hippodrome open, right? Xenon's closed. That club behind the Hilton, the other one downstairs, Black Club, they closed. Back home, we had to close down Palava Place, right?
Mm.
Because disco just went. It's like if somebody flicked the switch Friday and Monday, rock and roll was ruling the roost. Do you know I was on when I returned in 2019, I was on a train and there was this middle-aged lady with a Walkman and so on. She's playing music and it's disco and she's enjoying herself. And I actually took the time to stop her and educate her about this. And she turned out to be a DJ, right? And she was totally oblivious to this piece of history.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's almost like anything to do with us is buried. You know, we are inventors from long time. You and I keep complimenting one another and hailing one another as kings. Partner, we were kings. That ain't no joke. We strided as kings, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's important that we reflect on these things, put them in their proper context, and be proud of who we are and move in an accord, you know?
And I think that these stories should be told. Because some of the stuff that you would have listened to today, you would have learned something today. It would have been something that you didn't know. It will be something to pique your interest and go on and research it further, and find out more for yourself. So I
Yeah.
want to say, it's been lovely talking to you, Russell.
Likewise,
a-
likewise. Always a pleasure when we in one another company.
Again, I wish you the best of luck with this project. I think it's going to be absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you. You are
one
a
day,
foodie. I'm a foodie. There's a connection.
one day, that's what I'm saying. One day I'll go and cook on that caravan for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're welcome anytime. Anytime.
Yeah, we're gonna
Martin,
make that
thank
happen.
you very much for doing this. Bless up. Big up. One king to the other.
Nice one, King. Russell the Red Man here on Socavision. Make sure you check him out. Bees Mishmash.